Happy video day, guys. Christina Brooke here. Today's video, I wanted to introduce to you guys a new concept video that I want to do on my channel. So this is going to be the first of this kind of idea, and what I wanted to do was a 5-day challenge. So for my 5-day challenge, it's going to be all about using one eyeshadow palette for 5 days, no matter the circumstance that's happening that day, in order for me to really understand my eyeshadow palettes and see the pros and cons of that palette. So for the first challenge, I want to use the Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey because you guys wanted multiple looks with, but instead of doing like the typical 5 looks or 10 looks or whatever with one palette video, I want to kind of challenge myself to really understand this palette by putting myself in different predicaments and seeing if I can use this palette for that. So for example, on casual Fridays, what am I going to be able to do with this palette to go to the office, or for a day that I need to film a fashion video where I usually don't put that much eye makeup on because I want everything to match the different outfits that I'm changing into. What am I going to do? So I have a lot of different things that happen daily that it will be very interesting to challenge myself to only using one palette. So for the next 5 days, I'm going to be using only the Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey and bringing you guys on my journey, telling you guys the pros, the cons, things I noticed, and whenever I can do a full tutorial for you guys, I will do the full tutorial. So like for example, today is day 1 and I did this beautiful smoky eye because I know I wanted something smoky today, so it actually works out great, and I was able to do something really cool and extravagant for today's look. So of course, if you guys like this type of concept video, leave your comments down below. I have so many new released eyeshadow palettes that you guys have seen reviews on, but I would love to take a deep dive onto each one of them and really make myself use it and see what the pros and cons are, see what the challenges with the eyeshadow palette are. And of course, I'm not going to grab into any other eyeshadow palette. It has to be this one. So I'm going to make it work. We'll see what happens. But anyways, if you guys are new, I'm Christina Brooke. I would love it if you would want to hit subscribe and join the family. I am a little bit more of a cautious buyer. I do purchase a lot of makeup, especially for the channel to show you guys reviews, but I do want you guys to be very mindful with your purchases, and I do want you guys to think twice before purchasing, because I would never want to influence anybody to just buy something without them really knowing they want something. So hopefully this type of video kind of goes into that concept, and if you're not subscribed, I would love it if you would hit subscribe and join the family. So anyways, let's go ahead, let's get into it. I'll get into a little bit more details. We'll get into this eye look and we'll continue with the next 5 days. All right, so I basically went over what the whole idea of this video is. This could be modified as we continue to do these type of videos, but the first one is Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey. So you guys know this just released the other day, so it looks just like this. The inside, such a pretty palette, and in my review I did say it's a more wearable palette than her original mega palette that she released last holiday. So this is, I believe, $78 US, so it's not a cheap eyeshadow palette. This is pretty pricey. So I am going to give you guys as much information as I create eye looks, and at the end I'll give you guys like an overall analysis of the things I noticed. So I probably won't be doing tutorials on every eye look I create, because some of them might actually be like vlog footage if it was just a day that I'm just doing a casual thing and I'm not actually filming that day, but I have to use the palette. So let's go ahead and let's start off day number 1. So day number 1 is a filming day, so I was able to be a little bit more creative today, and what I wanted to do was a smoky eye. I wanted to see how smoky I can get, and also to see like what kind of looks you can create with that black color, because you know, like there was a black glittery shadow in here, and I figure that's one of the ones people are probably kind of scared of because it has a lot of glitters in it. Just because it has so much glitters on it, can you really use it for outer edge work, and what can you really do with that black glittery shadow? So that's what I created in today's look, a more smoky eye. You could wear this at night, wear this to a New Year's or anything like that. Let me show you guys how I created this eye look, and then I'll give you some other tips on things that you can tweak with different colors to create a similar vibe, but maybe with a different base tone. I'm gonna kind of like stick outside of the norm of maybe what you're used to seeing using this palette. I want to do something different, a little smoky. So what we're gonna do is play with some color, but also play with some of those darker hues. So there's some generic type of looks that you can do with this, but then there's also some real vamped up looks. So we'll start with a vampy, then we'll move into something that you could probably do with different color combinations. We'll play with everything. So let's start off with the first look, which is one I've been dreaming of doing with this palette. Hopefully this works out as it is in my brain, but we're gonna start off with this color right here, and we're gonna use that on the crease. So I'm using for this a Refer 15 brush. If you guys don't know, I am an affiliate with Refer, but I love their brushes. Since they have been sent to me, I use them nonstop. I'm a huge fan. I will have their link down below if you guys are interested. They literally have turned into my favorite brushes, and they have a new holiday collection that's on their way to me that I cannot wait to try. So let's go ahead and just put this in the crease. So I'm going to bring this as close as I can to my brow bone. I have very small hooded eyes, so I have to do a few little things to make them look bigger. If you have normal eyes, you don't have to get as close to your brow bone as I do, but this is why I go up so high. Otherwise, you guys will not even see this pink if I leave it too low. So just know that if you're older maybe and you start to see the effects of aging, which could cause your eyes to droop a little bit, or maybe could cause your eyes to droop a little bit, make them look a little bit more hooded, one of the things that I do is just bring my shadow up. I bring my shadow up higher, and then it does show a lot better. So I'm just going to use this kind of like my fun little peekaboo shade. I wanted something pink, but not super pink, so I think this could be a good shade. Now what I want to do is grab this black. Ooh, it's like a blackish, grayish color. I don't know what it is. A lot of colors. I'm gonna go ahead and put this down, and I'm just gonna kind of like smoke out the entire lid with this, and then just leave the front for some silver. That is such a cool shade. Tell me that's not cool. I'm gonna go up to like right there. Look at that. Look at that shade. It's so cool. Okay, so because of my eyes also go a little bit downward. So what I usually like to do is get a small brush like this one. This is a Refer 13. I'm gonna go back into that black, but I'm gonna kind of make my eyes go up a little bit by adding a little bit of definition to the outer V, but almost making it go up. So some people would follow their eye shape and just go down, but since my eye shape goes too down, I want it to go back up. I actually add that little lift on the side. So that's what I do. Of course, it depends on your eye shape. Not everybody even has to do this. Some people could just follow the shape of their eye. So that's why sometimes these tutorials you have to be careful, because everybody's gonna do the look how it looks best on them. So it just depends on your eye shape. If you have one like mine, this is what makes your eyes look lifted. You guys can see the difference, down, lifted. Okay, so now that I've placed it, then I get a blending brush. This one here is a Sigma E25. And I'm just gonna kind of like blend those edges, but not too much, because this is a really dark color, so I don't want it to like eat away of that pink too much, but I do want the pink to show. So I'm just blending it into the pink lightly. Then I'm going to jump into this. This is a Bristles Beauty brush, and it's an EO3DM. I'm gonna grab back into my pink color, and then just kind of like add a little bit to the edge and kind of clean off those lines. Then I want to grab into this silvery color right here. It's kind of like a lilac-y silver, and I want to add that in the inner portion and blend it into this black. So this is going to take a little blending so you don't see the line. I'm going to have to go in between this lilac and then back into the black a few times until everything kind of looks like they're blended together. You don't want to see a harsh line between the two. So that's where you'll go a little bit into the black, a little bit into the silver, until it looks like they kind of like gradient into each other. So I wonder if you guys noticed my fall background. I'm already adding a little bit of fall to my background. So just adding with the brush, I'm going to soften up the edges. Okay, so I'm going to go back in with this E13 one more time and go into this blackish shade. And we're going to add a little bit to the outer V, concentrating it just basically on the V. Just want it to be the deeper, darker part. This is the one we started with, Refer 15. We're just going to blend edges. So, okay, so that's what we've got going. For lower lash line, we're going to go into this pinky tone one more time and add that a little bit onto the lash line. Then with a brush like this one, this is from the Doll 10 and Makeup Molly set. What I'm going to do is grab into this brown right here, and I'm going to add that to the lower lash line, kind of just like a tight line color, only because the other one has a little bit of glitter particles in it, and I don't want them to go into my eye. So I'm going to avoid using it on the lower lash line. You probably could. You can also do this with just a black eyeliner. I'll do the same trick. Then with a makeup sponge is how you can just clean up the outer V, make it a little sharper, however you want. A makeup sponge just like this will just clean up all your edges, and it's the best way to clean off, you know, product. Not if it drops on you. The best way is with a brush, but if it's like just like little mistakes, you can just go like this. So that is what we're going with. I'm going to put on liner and mascara. You guys will see how this will transform itself into a really cool smoky eye. So if you guys saw it, very cool, very easy to do eye look if you really think about it. I did finish it off with a wing liner. I typically like to do wing liners to lift my eyes, but if you don't have to lift your eyes, you really don't have to do a wing liner unless you just like the look of it. I also added a little black to the waterline because I love a smudged waterline, and then I kind of like smudged it out. It kind of gives a really cool effect to the lash line, so that's why I did that. But let's say you're not a huge fan of pink, okay, and you don't want to put the pink as that base pop color. There really isn't much other color you can use to really think about it. There is this one here, but honestly, this with black is not the prettiest combination. When you're trying to do a real smoky eye, you can use a brown like this, but this one's a little bit too, this is too orangey. It would be like a brown like this one to do a real smoky eye. If you're not a huge pink person and you love the smoky eye, but you don't like the pink, you can switch it out with something like this deeper brown here. So what I would do is I would do the black all the way, and then as the gradient goes up, you transition into a brown. I love to do that with smoky eyes. Instead of using gray or anything like that, I usually use brown as it goes higher, and then you can just blend out whatever's left with a brown like this one, and it actually looks like a gradient. So you can do something like that. Other than that, you're really stuck to pink as that pop shade, because there really is no other matte in here that has any pigment to it. There's actually two pinky shades if you guys think about it. So really, she kind of got us stuck to pink again. That's something that right now I'm wishing was different. I wish that that was different. I wish that she wouldn't have put two pinky mattes. That is something that I noticed before, but when trying to create a smoky eye, and these are the only colors that I had for blending when it comes to color, I realized I'm basically stuck to pink. And then also when it comes to just blending just regular mattes, there's these two browns. So there's two browns and two pinks. So the two browns are a deep brown, and also this one that's like more of an orangey brown, right? So like I said, you can use these two right here to give it more of a gradient effect, but I would leave out this like lavender kind of color. Or you can do the pop of color underneath like what I did. So that's your only options for mattes. I have already noticed that is going to make things a little bit more challenging as the weeks go by. As I'm looking at this palette and thinking I want to use every single one of these colors and realizing that there really is only 4 mattes to blend the shadows out with, it's gonna be interesting. So for today's look, we did use this black here. We also used this pink right here, and we also used the lavender. So those are the colors that we used in today's look. A little bit of the deep brown for the under eye work, but I will be using that color more. So I'm happy with today's look. I think it's really, really pretty and fun, but I'm very interested in knowing what else I can come up with this palette. So let's move on to day number 2. Okay, so let's start off with a green lid, because I know a lot of you guys have wanted me to play with this beautiful green that came broken in my first palette. And in case you guys don't know the story, this palette came shattered to me and this shade was everywhere. I contacted Pat McGrath and they literally sent me a new palette the next day. Best customer service award goes to Pat McGrath. They literally are the best, and this has been for years. They have terrible shipping, even though they're getting a lot better. This launch actually shipped pretty good. So I would say, hopefully, based off of this launch, their shipping is getting better, but their customer service has always been basically spectacular. For the price you pay, we should be getting very good customer service, and they definitely hit the mark on that. So I'm excited for that. Now what I want to do is a smoky eye with this color. So let's go ahead and let's get into this color first. And I just kind of want to put this on. Oh, just want to see it. I feel like it just needs to go everywhere. Okay, so now that I see what the color looks like, I am kind of obsessed. This has so much pigment to it. Wow. I can even do a full swatch. Look at that. This is the most beautiful color ever. And then what I want to do is I want to grab a little bit of this pink, because I think typically we would grab the brown, but I kind of want to go into the pink. So I'm just using a tapered blending brush, and this is from Loris. I don't even know what brand this is. But, ooh, that's too pink. That's too pink. Changed my mind. We are backtracking. We are backtracking on that pink. I am going to go in with the brown. Let's do the brown. This is gonna change up my look. That wasn't really what I'm vibing for today. So let's go into the brown. Okay, yeah, that's better. Try to do something else, but no, we're not gonna go in that direction today. So I did put down the green first, just because this pigment, the green, it does kind of like, it's like one of those metallics that it blends a lot into the mattes. So I kind of just want to place it down where I wanted it, and I didn't want to affect my matte placement too much so it doesn't get into the matte, but we'll see about that. So let's just kind of blend that. So I'm going to jump into a Refer 13. So I'm going to just lay it like that. Then I want to go into, I'm going to jump into this one right here. Cover a little bit of that brown. A little bit of, I'm going to grab a little bit of the brown on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to blend it with this brown. And that's like a really fun little dramatic looking eye. On this side I want to do something a little bit more simple. So what I want to do is something that I think that you guys can do very easily at home, which would be grabbing this brown right here, this one, the lighter one, just adding that to the outer edge, blending it. I'm using a Refer 14 for this, and I'm going to put it in the inner portion as well. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of like connect it up here. Then I want to grab this beautiful gold right here and just put that in the center. Look how pretty and easy that is. And if you want, you can even grab a little bit of this brighter gold right here and just kind of like pop it right in the center, just to bring up the reflect just a tad. Just like that. Bring a little bit of this same brown on the lower lash line. I'm going to jump into my Wayne Goss 27S. I'm just going to blend that down here. Very easy, effortless. You need to just blend it. Look. All right, let me put on some mascara so you guys can see the finished look. So I'm filming right now a fashion haul. So I told you guys that I will be updating you guys on my Pat McGrath challenge. So I told you guys also that some days I have to do like fashion videos where I don't want to put like colorful makeup on that might kind of clash with what I'm wearing, because I have to switch so many different outfits. I don't really know what color to pick, because it could be green and then I could be wearing purple and then it could be red. So I usually go for a very basic eye look, and today I did something pretty basic. This is kind of more vlog style, but I am using my nice camera. So I'm going to show you guys quickly the colors that I used to create this look. And today is day 3. Yesterday you guys probably saw me just playing with a bunch of different colors, and I just had the day off, so I was playing with different eye looks. But today I actually used this deep brown on the outer V, so I had it on the outer V. I used this lighter brown as a blending shade. I wish there was one lighter shade. I feel like what I'm missing in here is a lighter shade to blend, so I've been kind of struggling with that recently. So then for the metallics that you guys see on the lid, I'm using this deep bronzy color on the outer portion, and then as we go into the inner portion, I was using this metallic-y that's kind of like a goldish color, and it did this really beautiful, simple eye look. I finished it with some liner and mascara. I do have to say that even though I wanted to go a little bit more simple, it was a little bit difficult because of the fact that there's not many mattes, so I had to go with like a lot of metallic-y look to the lid, so it does add a little bit of this. The only good thing is that bronze shade is not very vibrant. Hopefully this lighting's okay, because typically I would be back here, but I wanted to show you guys. Maybe I could zoom in. Maybe that'll work. Ah, zoom in, Christina. Good idea. So maybe you guys can see the eye look, how it came out. But I do like the way the look came out. I think it came out really pretty, but I am noticing that maybe for your everyday, that you don't want to have like a very dramatic eye, there's just like one matte missing that would allow you to accomplish those. That's what I'm seeing so far, at least from today's look. But we are only on day 3, so tomorrow is day 4, and let's see what I can come up with. I don't even know what I'm filming tomorrow or if I'm filming, so we'll see. I'll see you guys in the next day. All right, guys, so we are on day number 4, day 4. And today I'm actually going to be filming 2 different videos. So I'm going to be doing a fashion video, but I'm also going to be doing a makeup video. So, and I'm in one of those moods. I just really feel like playing with makeup today. So even though I probably should do something a little bit more neutral to match with the fashion stuff, I just feel like playing with makeup. And I think you guys know, like sometimes when you're just like in one of those moods and you just feel like playing with makeup, well, that's today. So we're gonna do something fun with Celestial Divinity today before I go and get all dressed up for my videos. So I've already used a lot of these shades, so I think what I want to do today, what we're going to have to do today is, because I haven't played with this blue, and I know tomorrow is a work day, so tomorrow I'm not going to want to put blue all over the lids. So we're going to do something a little bit more fun today, and I haven't really played too much with this lighter pink. So let's start with the lighter pink, and let's put that in the inner portion of the eye. And I'm sorry, I couldn't find my zoom lens. I don't know where it is, which is really weird. It like walked off and disappeared, but I had to use my regular filming lens. So hopefully this is close enough. So that is a very pretty pink, but I want to add some orange next door. So let's do some of this one. Let's do orange. But like to kind of combine them, let's jump into this peachy orange right here. So I kind of want to put that in between where the pink starts, where the pink ends and the orange starts, just to lighten it. Just a tad. Kind of make them mesh together in a minute. Then let's kind of blend out this orange with this brush. So this is from Bristles Beauty. This is a EO3 DM. I'm gonna grab the blue. And this is probably not going to work for my fashion video, so I'm probably going to have to do one more look. Let's grab a little bit of the brown, the deep brown, just to have a color that doesn't have so much shine in the outer V, because I don't like to have so much shine, and that blue has a lot of shine. I just wanted it to be blue at the end. I don't know. Okay, so that's what I came up with. I don't love it. I think that blue needs to just be used as a lid topper. I was hoping that I can use it as an outer edge color. I think we might have to redo this eye. I'm back and took it off because it wasn't what I was going for. I'm kind of feeling like this palette, one of its fault, like one of the things that's wrong with it, which I figured, is it's hard to use multiple shades together. And I really just wanted to see if I could play with like really fun, colorful eye. And you can have some problems mixing some of the tones. I thought that might happen, but I really wanted to play with it. So let's do something different. I want to still use the blue. because I know that that's one of the shades I have not used. I also want to use the green again, but I'm going to use the blue. So even though I think this blue is really pretty, it's just like one of those shades I probably would hardly ever use in reality. It really is just not, this is just like not one of my shades. Like, it's a cool shade, probably like all over the lid. Should we do it all over the lid? So let's just put it all over the lid and then smoke out the outer edge. Let's do that. It seems to me like the only way that you'll be able to use this blue good is by just putting it all over the lid. Then deepening on the outer V, I could use this black with the little glitter in it, but I want to kind of try using the brown. Usually don't like brown and blue together, but there's not really many options, and it has a little red in it, so that doesn't look bad together. Now that's already looking so much better than the last look. Then to blend the top, there's a little bit of a predicament because the only color really I could use is this one because I don't want to blend it with pink. That's because we already saw that pink and blue, usually I don't like them together either, so it's not a very smart idea what I did before, but I did do once a palette. I did something with the Natasha Denona Circle Loco with pink and blue that came out beautiful, but this one did not do the same effect. A little bit more of the brown. And I'm going to grab a little bit of this color here, blend that on the lower lash line. That looks so much better than the last look. Oh my goodness, night and day. Okay, so what I'm going to do to finish off, the look, I'm going to do a little bit of a wing liner, very small one, hopefully stays small. I'll put on a little bit of liner on the lower lash line, maybe a brown, smoke it a little bit, and mascara, and I think this is going to be really, really pretty. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Hey guys, here we go, final look. I did put on some L'Oreal Lash Paradise, Natasha Denona brown eyeliner, just to finish off the look. I also put a small wing, actually it's not that small, but of the Natasha Denona macro blade or macro blade on the top lid, and I love this look. I ended up really liking this, and I don't like blue. I don't like blue at all, but I like the way that this look came out because I really like the way that this kind of like burgundy-ish brown matches with the blue. So perfect combination, very, very beautiful, and I'm so happy I restarted this look because the other one, I think at the end with mascara and liner probably would have worked, but just not been to me, and this is a lot more me, and I feel more comfortable in it. I feel like I can film my fashion video in it, and I can continue the rest of my day and not feel like I don't really love my makeup. So this ended up being a winner. So yeah, I like this look. What do you guys think? Okay guys, so this is day 4. But tomorrow's look, I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show it to you guys. So I'm gonna do something very simple with the pinks. I think what I'm gonna do is something with this pink right here, this pink right here, maybe a little bit of this brown right here, and just keep it really, really simple for the office. But today's gonna be the most, did I just get I just got stuff on my face. But this is probably gonna be the most fun look that I'm gonna do before the end of this video. So the next one I will show you guys will be very simple. But I wanted to give you guys kind of like my final thoughts now because I already kind of know. I already know, and so I decided to do it right now, and then tomorrow's look, I already know it's gonna be simple. So this is my thoughts, okay? So I really like this palette overall. I really do like it, but it does have its little flaws. And I want you guys to know that going into this, just because I feel like it is a $75 palette, and if people think, and if you think in your mind that every single look that you use this with is gonna come out great, then you're kind of thinking of it a little bit wrong, okay? So this palette is a type of palette that you use maybe 2 colors together and you call it a day, but don't go into this thinking that you're gonna use like this whole line together, or you're gonna use like 5 colors together and that the look is gonna come out really, really great. It probably won't. It's gonna look a little clashy. The colors don't all mix well together. There's certain colors that look better together than other colors, and there's only 4 mattes. So you have to be careful with the color that you pick, because then your blending shade has to be a certain color, or it might not look as good, like it'll blend ugly. Like for example, mixing the pinks with the blues, it could work. but you have to be very careful. You just have to be very careful because it could turn a little muddy-ish color, like the combination of the pink and the blue when they hit could turn into like a purpley color, and if you do it too much, it could turn like ugly. Like it's not going to be that pretty pink coming out of the lid like you would be expecting, you know? So I think that for the palette, if you go in thinking like, okay, I'm gonna use this brown right here as my deepening shade and then one metallic with it, and I'm gonna call it a day, your looks are all gonna probably come out beautiful. You can use this brown as a deepening shade with the green. You can use the brown with the pink. You can use this one with this one, this one with this one, this one with this one, this one with this one. Like literally every color can use this as a deepening shade. There is no color here besides maybe this black that wouldn't make as much sense, but you could use it as a smoky eye color. But this deepening shade works with every single one of these. So you pick the metallic you want all over the lid and you add it as a deepening shade and you're good to go. You can also do this one with a halo. You could put it in the front portion of the eye and then at the back, and then just kind of put one of these metallics in the center, and any of the metallics will look good with the brown. The same goes for this one. This one goes really well with every single one of these colors. It's lighter, so you know, if you start to try to mix it with like the brown, if you try to mix it with this blue, it's probably not going to look as good as if you use this dark brownish color. So just, you know, use this one as a deepening shade if you want, but with the colors that are a little bit lighter than it, not colors that are darker than it, because then it will kind of clash a little bit. But you can use this as a deepening shade. It is pretty deep. I actually wish that this one was a little bit lighter so that I can use it better for blending. I do use it as a blending shade. I just have to pick up very little product, or it just kind of does like a really harsh color, and it's not really what I want when I'm blending. So that's kind of the struggle I had with the mattes, is just that I'm missing a blending shade that I feel like works perfectly with everything. The pinks is literally the same thing, but I would be more careful with what I use this pink with. You know, like this pink could be a deepening shade, so basically an outer V shade, and you can use it with any of these colors. I would probably say stay away from the blue. I would probably stay away from this yellowy gold, and you know, I mean, I guess you can use it with the orange, but it's a little bit more limited to the color that you can mix it with. But what it does work good as is a blending shade, an under peekaboo shade. Like you could put it all over the lid and then just grab one of these cool colors and just put it right on top, and then just have that pink coming out from underneath. That looks beautiful. So you do have that option with this. And then this one is a little bit redundant. I wish that this one wasn't here. It's lighter than this one, but I personally think it's a little useless. I've used it a few times, and every time that I try to use it, I don't really love it. I almost feel like this is where she should have given us kind of like a mossy green or something like that, that could have played with some of these colors, maybe even a purple, a deepening purple, something. And I think that this one should have been like a mossy green or a purple, and then this one here should have been a very light taupe that is not skin colored, has a little bit of pigment to it, but that you can use it more for blending. Since these colors are so unique and they don't all work well together, it's like those mattes had to be like standouts. I think she did a decent job with the mattes. I just don't think that they're perfection with the colors that you have here. So mixing this one with maybe another palette that you have that has a lot of blending shades, if you have another Pat McGrath, or if you have the Mario Master Mattes that has like all the browns and stuff, that would work really good with this to find those missing shades that you just kind of need to complete the look. Now, can you do full looks with this? 100%. Every single look that I did today, I only used this one. But it was not like it was super easy. It wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, I want to use this color. I want to use this color. I want to use this color. Some other palettes, like for example, when I use a palette like this one, right? All of these colors look so great together that it doesn't really matter what color I jump into. Everything kind of performs well together. They all match, they all mix. I have the light shade for the blending, I have the deepening shade, I can jump between these two, and it's just basically an all-in-one palette that's so easy to use, and any direction you go, you basically come out with an awesome eye. That's different from this. This is not like that. This is a lot of really fun colors that do not all work perfectly together, but you can use one or two together and they come out really good. So that's just something to note for the consumer in case you guys are wondering. That is something I noticed. I also noticed that doing like the more dayish looks gets a little bit more difficult because there's only 4 mattes. And for me, sometimes during the day, I don't like to use too many metallics because I like to keep the tone, I like the look to look a little bit more toned down. And when I'm trying to do something more toned down, really the only matte that I have that's more toned down is this one. So like this would be for a halo eye, or this would be for a deepening shade, and then I just have to use a metallic. Like I have no choice, I have to put a metallic on. When I tried to use the pinks, they look okay, but I personally just don't like pink that much, so I have a little bit of a hard time using that like an outer V color or an inner corner color, like, because then I kind of see the pink so much that I'm like, damn, this isn't as subtle as I wanted it to be. That's where you're gonna have your little struggle. Now the good things about this is the metallics are pretty damn amazing. The quality of this palette is insanely good. Every single color is phenomenal. They blend really well. Look at this blue pigmentation for days. This photograph's so amazing. Like the pigment pops. There's no bad shade that I used so far in this palette. However, last year's palette I think kind of worked a little bit better together, like all the colors, but it still had almost the same issue with like the pink blending shades and not having like that missing blending shade that we really wanted. So that's almost the same as this year's. And I really like this palette a lot. I really do. I think it's beautiful. Well, I'm back probably a few hours later, so I can give you a wear test because so much stuff has just happened and I didn't get to film any of the videos that I thought I was gonna film today. This is what happens in the life. And actually it's wearing really nice. If anything, my foundation, I had to touch it up just a little bit, but everything else looks really good. So wear time is pretty good on this palette. I have noticed that though, because I have been wearing it more often. So tomorrow's look is going to be something very neutral. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very easy look, and you guys are probably going to see it here, and it's probably going to be the most easy look that I will do using this palette. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys my 2 cents after using this for 5 days straight and literally not having a choice but to use this palette and make it work for my everyday. I was able to make it work for my everyday, but there was some challenges and it was not as easy, you know, easy peasy as maybe some of my other palettes that are a little bit more cohesive to use all together. So it's a fun palette, super cool colors. 1 to 2 colors is enough to do an awesome eye look. And yeah, that's just my opinion. So leave me your comments down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking, but let's jump into my last day. All right guys, so here is the end. Today is day number 5. So this is the eye look. I told you guys it was gonna be really simple. I brought the palette out to show you guys what I used. I'm filming this from my phone because, like I said, today's casual day and I have to run into the office. So what I did was I used this color on the outer edge, and then I just grabbed this really pretty metallic here at the end and I mixed it with, which is the other one, this one and this one. And that's exactly what I did for this eye look. So it's really simple. If you guys can see, a little brown liner and some mascara, and that's it. Like I told you guys before, everything with metallics, because like, you know, I have a lot of metallic on the lid. It looks pretty, it looks day appropriate, but you know, it just depends on the metallic color you use. And today I used very soft pinky, which goes really good for the daytime. So that is the end of my 5-day challenge. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope I was able to give you some more insight on this new Celestial Odyssey. Let me know down below if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.